Amsterdam, May 1940. The sirens began before dawn. 5 days later, the Netherlands surrendered. The war did not arrive in flames. It arrived in uniforms, in new rules, in notices pasted quietly on brick walls. On Prinsengracht, above a narrow bakery that smelled of rye and yeast, lived the WWII family. They were not political. They were not activists. They were bakers. In 1942, someone knocked on their back door, and everything narrowed to one decision. Hendrik de Vries was 43 years old. He owned the bakery his father had opened in 1912. Clara, his wife, kept the accounts and measured flour more precisely than any scale. Their son, Peter, was 12. Their daughter, Lotte, was 9. Their apartment sat directly above the shop. 2 small bedrooms, a narrow kitchen, a steep staircase leading to a low attic used for storage, flour sacks, broken chairs, unused crates. Amsterdam in the 1930s was layered and practical. Jewish and non-Jewish families lived along the same canals. Business was business. Children played together in the street. The de Vries family sold bread to everyone. After the German invasion, life tightened gradually. Registration forms, identity cards stamped with a J, Jewish businesses marked, curfews. At first, customers still came. Then fewer did. By 1942, deportations began. Officially, it was labor deployment in the East. Unofficially, rumors traveled faster than trains. One afternoon in July 1942, Samuel Cohen entered the bakery through the rear entrance. He had supplied the shop with flour for years. He did not remove his hat. He did not sit down. His wife, Rivka, and their 8-year-old daughter, Miriam, had received a notice to report. He did not ask directly for help. Hendrik did not answer immediately. He looked at the staircase that led upstairs. The attic was small and unfinished, the roof beams pressed low. The single window could not be opened with risk of being seen. Clara said no first. Helping Jews in occupied Netherlands meant imprisonment, sometimes deportation. Entire families disappeared. Hendrik carried blankets up anyway. That night, Rivka and Samuel returned. They brought one suitcase. No furniture, no guarantees. The attic became a second address that did not exist. From that point forward, the house split into 2 rhythms. Downstairs, ovens, customers, conversation. Upstairs, stillness. During daylight hours, the attic remained silent. No walking near the window. No water unless the bakery machinery was running. No light visible at night. Peter and Lotte were told everything. They were also told that speaking about it, even accidentally, would end it. Food was the constant calculation. Ration cards limited everything. Bread, butter, sugar. Hendrik quietly reduced portions in the shop. Clara watered soup. Peter began skipping parts of his lunch without being asked. Winter 1942 settled heavily over Amsterdam. Coal was scarce. The attic froze at night. Rivka developed a cough that could not always be suppressed. Clara boiled onions and cabbage below to thicken the air with smell and steam. Miriam turned 9 that winter. There was no cake. Lotte slipped her a blue ribbon she had saved from school before Jewish children were barred from attending. 2 girls sat beneath the beams, whispering about things neither fully understood. In early 1943, inspections increased. German authorities monitored bakeries closely for stolen flour and black market trade. One afternoon, a uniformed officer requested access to all storage areas. Hendrik led him upstairs. Flour sacks were stacked deliberately in front of the attic door. Hendrik explained that shortages left little to inspect. The officer opened one sack. He ran his hand through it. He stepped closer to the attic door. Then he turned away. After he left, no one spoke for nearly an hour. That night, Clara again suggested moving the Cohens elsewhere. Hendrik refused. Movement meant exposure. Staying meant endurance. By 1944, the city was starving. The railway strike triggered German retaliation. Food transport into the Western Netherlands stopped. The hunger winter began. Bread shrank to thin slices. Potatoes disappeared. Tulip bulbs were ground and baked into something barely edible. In the attic, Rivka grew visibly weaker. Samuel insisted they leave. Hendrik insisted they remain. Peter became thinner each month. In January 1945, he collapsed behind the counter while serving a customer. For the first time, doubt settled heavily in the kitchen. Hendrik had chosen to save one family, but his own son was fading. Clara spoke quietly that evening. If we survive together. The attic remained occupied. In May 1945, Canadian forces entered Amsterdam. The city did not erupt in celebration. It exhaled slowly, cautiously. German uniforms vanished. Windows opened. People stepped into sunlight as if testing it. Samuel and Rivka stepped out of the attic after nearly 3 years. Miriam was 11. They had survived. Most Dutch Jews had not. The Cohens could not return to their former home. It had new occupants. Most relatives were gone. In 1947, they emigrated. The bakery reopened fully. The line returned along the canal. Bread smelt the same as it had before the war. Hendrik never spoke publicly about the attic. There was no organization, no speeches, no medals at the time. Just a staircase, just a hidden space beneath roof beams. Years later, Miriam described the sound of kneading below, the smell of warm bread, the ribbon she had kept. Peter once said he did not remember feeling brave. He remembered feeling hungry. History remembers symbols, but there were hundreds of attics, hundreds of kitchens, hundreds of choices made quietly without witnesses. The De Vries family did not resist with weapons. They resisted with space, with silence, with smaller loaves of bread, with blankets carried up narrow stairs. Ordinary lives, extraordinary times.